health. The following program is paid for and presented by Tony Mart Presents. The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Summer is unofficially here, and what a beautiful, beautiful weekend God has given us here at the Jersey Shore. It is going to be one of the greatest summers of our lifetime. I can't begin to tell you. But before we get there, let me just say, my father used to say, Decoration Day. That's what the old-timers and the baby boomers called Memorial Day, Decoration Day. Was what Tony Mart said. And, I would be loading 50 cases of vodka, 200-300 cases of beer. That's what we'd be doing this opening weekend of the summer. The great time of the year. We love it. I would like to, however, start with something less than joyous. We just lost a former police chief in Summers Point, Sal Armenia. Salvatore is a great, great man, great guy, good friend, and the cop that worked the front of Tony Mart's for many years. Sal would be there in his car. Sal would get out of the car. Sal would handle it, deal with whatever it was. Saved my brother's life a few times. Certainly saved him some serious bruises. And he was always a great guy. Even in those days when we were complete bums and reprobates, he was always good with us and fair with us. And turned out, of course, to be a tremendous officer and official in the city of Summers Point. I can't possibly say enough great things about Sal Armenia. God bless you, Sal. Thank you, Sal. Not only thank you for all the years of your service to the public, but this is personal. Thank you for all your years in front of Tony Mart's and all the things you did to help us when things were tough, when we had to get a little bit beyond. We're celebrating those days, but we remember you, Sal. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our hearts go out to Jenna and his beautiful family. God bless. Well, we're going to celebrate the opening of the season this Friday night at Josie Kelly's with our pop-up Welcome to the Summer Party. And I just want to say one thing about that. I'm going to say it 5 times. It's going to be crowded. Yet we're going to have quite a few reserved seats. They're mostly taken. Some of the other co-hosts are going to... good to hear from you, too, Alan. I just got a text from Dr. Alan DeMoulin, Dr. Lou DeMoulin. Nice to hear from you as well, folks. I am so happy to be back and happy to be getting ready to let the good times roll all summer long. We're going to have a good time over there at Josie's. Doesn't start till 8:30, but please remember, it will be crowded. There are no guarantees on reserve seats. There are reserved tables. And if you get a hold of us, we'll try to get you down for one. But please understand, this is probably going to be, the old people's party. The point will be slamming. Charlie's will be slamming because Charlie's always slams with draft beer and great wings and all of that. We love Charlie's. And the Anchorage, all of that will be humming. It's Memorial Day, but next Friday night, that Josie Kelly's gig we're doing is going to be a major. And the Tony Mart All-Stars, Jimmy Glenn just left here, old school. Richie Kurtz, Mega, Brian Conover, The Voice, Big Bob Hernano, Howard Isaacson, The First Call. As if that were not enough, how about Danny Iyer, Billy Walton, Destiny Monroe? You know the way we do it. That's our reputation, and we're sticking to it. When we do a gig like this next Friday night, the 31st of May, it will be a great show and a great opening party for the season. Today, we will have two excellent rock and roll musicians who are doing two shows on the beach this summer and do a show every Monday night, including this Monday night, Memorial Day, starting, I think, at 2:30 at Golden Nugget on the deck. And the band's name is Red, and the guys are Bobby Kimmel and Andy from Red, and we love those guys. They are great musicians. Just come and go and see this band. Now, they're going to be doing two shows. They're doing what I decided to do this year was for the last concert of the year, the night before Good Old Days, we're going to have a full-out rock and roll concert blowout with two shows. The Tony Mart All-Stars doing country, Parrot Head, classic rock, and then Red, of course, with Patty Balbo and Danny Iyer, and them do great new wave. The old Pat Benatar and Pretenders, psychedelic rock, Cream, rock and roll, classic rock, and excellent original music. We'll talk about that with the guys. But on the 12th of July, and you know, this schedule in Summers Point, almost every week is a blowout, a huge event. It's just, you know, I'm so proud of it. And on the 12th of July, it's called Girls Night Out Doubleheader. And it starts that night at 7 o'clock with an off-Broadway movie star who tours in Europe and is from New York and plays major venues. You don't see her at like a beach concert down the street. But Dana Fuchs loves us, and we love Dana Fuchs. Do yourself a favor and see Across the Universe. All you got to do is put it in on demand. It's like this weird old cult protest movie. Has all the music of the Beatles. And that's what it's all about. But it's also about all this goofy hippie stuff. But that's not the point. The point is Dana Fuchs walking out on that stage in the movie and doing Why Don't We Do It in the Road, and then ending the show with Helter Skelter. I mean, Dana Fuchs is an immense talent, and she's doing a concert which is more than enough to be a major concert, national touring act on the 12th. But it's not enough for us because we wanted to have Patty Balbo and Red and all those talented guys do this new tribute show called The Girls Can't Help Themselves. So they're going to play the second part. So you'll see a 7 o'clock concert for 75 minutes, and then you'll see an 8:30 concert for another 75 minutes. that night, girls' night out doubleheader. We're going to talk about that when the guys come up on stage. And then also today, we're going to keep focused on the incredible content of music that we have. And our photographer, our most valuable player on the beach concert committee, and, of course, the Facebook, the keeper of all the Facebook, John LaRoe, works very hard for the beach concert committee, works very hard for Tony Mart Presents. And we're going to have Johnny on the show with us today. And I do want to say something about USA Today. We are, without a doubt, the top outdoor concert series in the United States. In 2023, we were number one. In 2024, we are number two, but the concert series that beat us was not even around last year. Didn't even make number one through 10. Just kind of came out of nowheres. But the bottom line is the concert series in Vail did outpoll us numerically in USA Today this year. But if you look at the overall status, we are by far the top concert series. Number one last year, number two this year. These folks weren't even heard of last year. But we're congratulatory to them. It must be a great series. I wish I had time to go to Vail, Colorado, and see the series. But what I know is what I know. Morning, a by-water call. Great. If you like the music of, oh, geez. Now I'm having a lapse. Tedeschi Trucks. And then follow that with Billy Walton, Dane Anthony, and something that's getting national press. You're going to see PBS coming to do a story about Eddie and the Cruisers on the 4th of July in Summers Point. That's where we stand, okay? And then the show I just talked about after that, the girls doubleheader, and then Phantom Blues Band. And won't we have fun that week? 12:40. Nancy loves to come and interrupt me and distract me. Thank you, Des. Anyway, for those of you who know what I've been going through, you can't imagine. I wouldn't have made it without Nance. I mean, she's just unbelievable. Anyway, where was I before I got interrupted? Phantom Red Wine and Funky Phantom Blues. That's going to be the story in July. Now, we're not allowed to drink on the beach, but on the boardwalk, we have the Tony Mart Cafe, and we're going to be having some good times. Bogle Wine puts out this fantastic blend called Phantom Red. And it just so happens that week, the 17th in Atlantic City, the 19th on the beach, we have one of the greatest bands in the world. Top 10 in the world. There's just no discussion. Okay? The Phantom Blues Band is Taj Mahal's band. They were Etta James' band. They were Bonnie Raitt's band. Okay? The sax player, Joe Sublette, was Stevie Ray Vaughan's guy for a long time. Stevie Ray Vaughan, sax player. The trumpet player, Les, is first call trumpet for Herbie Hancock. I hope anybody who knows what we're talking about here appreciates what we're talking about. Tony Bronigal was a premier producer. They played years with the Animals, Robert Cray. Taj, he's just producing Taj's album now. That's the immensity of talent coming to that beach. And let's not forget my buddy Johnny Lee Shell, who I love so much, the Texas guitar slinger. Nancy and I love him and his wife so much. He's got so many Grammys from B.B. King's recordings. It's like ridiculous. This is what we're bringing to you. That's why it doesn't matter who the hell is in Vail, Colorado. We're here. We're at the Jersey Shore. We are the Tony Mart legacy, one of the greatest rock and roll bars in the history of South Jersey, and we're living it every day in real time. And the guys that help us do it, the guys I'm about to introduce, are the guys I grew up loving, idolizing, and they are out there doing it every day. Every day. You can see them Monday, I think, at 2:30 at the deck, and you can see them every Monday. And you can see them on the beach in July, and you can see them again on the beach in September. Welcome to the show, the great drummer, Bobby Kimmel. And Andy, are you there? Is Andy with you?
I am.
Andy,
and I'm here too.
Andy, why don't you start? Tell us about yourself. I know you're more than just a guitarist and songwriter and producer and technical guy. Give us a little snippet about you.
Well, I started playing guitar at 12 and then started writing songs shortly after that and been doing it ever since for way longer than I've cared to admit.
Right.
And I met Bob. I wrote a song for Patty Balbo when I moved to Atlantic City from Baltimore in 1988. And her and Bob liked it, and we decided to start a band after that, and we've been going ever since.
And that band was called Red?
Yep, that band was called Red. We've been going for, what was our first gig, 96? No,
90,
before that.
I think we started in 96. I think our first gig was in 97.
Was that over Brownies? That's the gig at Brownies? Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Brownies where Tony Mart used to be?
It was Brownies out near Bargain Town, out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that one. That one.
Yeah.
Okay, right near my house. So this is, really, I got to say to y'all, in this band, Red, you have Danny Iyer, and Rich Kurtz, who are part of the family, and Patty Balbo, who is amazingly talented and is so looks and feels the Summers Point scene, the Bay Shores, Tony Mart's rock and roll. She reminds me so much of when, we were wrapping it up in 81, 82, doing Pat Benatar and Chrissy Hyde and all of that. It really brings that flavor. But you, Andy, I told you, I think the first night I met you, you are an amazingly great guitar player. And this band between you and Danny Iyer, what I just talked about, that's why you guys are on. You are the emerging great band on the scene here. And how does it feel? Are you getting the kind of acclaim you think you deserve?
We are from you. No, it's always great to hear that, Carmen, but, we just do what we do. Don't worry about anything else, really. We just play what we want to play and do what we want to do and have a good time doing.
Well, it's no secret that a lot of people want to play the Summers Point Beach. And I'm really letting the cat out of the bag by having you all on and saying you guys got 2 gigs. But the bottom line is I want you on that finale rock and roll show with the Tony Mart All-Stars in September. And we love those. Much as I hate to see the end of the summer, those September nights are so beautiful. But the girls can't help themselves. Is that the new show?
The Girls Can't Help It.
Yep.
Taken from the movie of the same name that starred Jane Mansfield back in the I guess late 50s or maybe early 60s. I'm not sure what the date on that movie was, but we stole the title. But it's
Friday, July 12th. Friday, July 12th. Tell us about it.
That's a tribute kind of a thing. We call it a celebration of the women of rock from the 60s to today. We cover all the female vocalists starting in the 60s with Janis Joplin and Grace Slick. We moved through the 70s and 80s and all the way up to current, all the way up to including Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift and everything in between. And our girl singer, Patty, covers all of that. She covers every single one of those and kills it. She nails it all. So
she's great.
It's kind of in three parts. We do a part in the 60s and 70s, and then the second segment is an 80s segment, and then the third segment is the 90s up till today. And it's a fun show, and it's kind of new. We're just getting it off the ground, but our first time out, when we first did our very first show, was accepted really, really well. The audience was extremely enthusiastic, so we feel like we're probably doing something right. So we're really excited to put this on the beach with you, and we're very, very happy and pleased that you included us in the schedule for this summer and let us do this show.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, guys, I did this for you and for Patty. I had no business doing this. I have to admit, I already had a premier national act, Dana Fuchs, but I said to actually, you were first. I had you. And then I crammed Dana into it because Dana called and said, tell Carmen in between Paris and New York, we want to come to the shore. And so I made it did you see that ladies' night doubleheader?
Yeah, that's going to be great. I'm not familiar with her. I'm not real familiar with her, but I've looked up, and it looks like that's going to be an exciting night. She looks like she's extremely talented, and we know our girl Patty is very talented. So that should be a really fun night for the people to come out on the beach that night.
Patty Balbo is without a doubt one of the top female vocal performers in the state of New Jersey and another half a dozen states around us. Absolutely one of the top. And go watch Across the Universe. It's easy to get it on demand. I saw it on the airplane when I came back from Germany. And when Dana comes out, it's all Beatles music, Across the Universe. When Dana comes out and does Do It in the Road, that's her intro into the movie. And then at the end, she does Helter Skelter. And it's the point I'm trying to make is that we have the very greatest talent in the world, the greatest international and the greatest regional. And you just don't see it, what we're talking about doing here. You will rarely see a night out where you get to see a group as great as Red or a show as great as this show. The Girls Can't Help It. Am I get it right that time?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
And what really amazes me, and people love it when I say this, but it's the truth, and that is you guys are as great as they are. And that's because of who you are and the fact that you are the absolute best. How did this show come together, The Girls Can't Help It?
Well, we've had the Red Band for, very long. It's been almost 30 years now. And we've always known that Patty is an extraordinary talent. And the tribute band phenomenon that's going on these days is huge. And there's a lot of work out there for bands doing that. And we were interested in trying to find a way to capitalize on that and move into that market a little bit, not so much with the band Red, but with a separate entity, a side project. It's essentially the same band with only one difference. Instead of Danny Iyer on the second guitar, it's Patty's boyfriend, Bugsy, is the second guitar player. And he's an old family friend of ours forever. So it was a good fit. So it's essentially the same band, but they're two separate entities. And we were looking for a vehicle for Patty, and we thought about a couple things. We thought about maybe a Pretenders tribute, but it seemed a little too narrow. So we decided to expand the idea and do this concept of covering all the female rockers through the decades, through 6 decades, and that's how it came about.
That's exciting. Now that you've explained to me all the different things that you do, I really think not only do I think that it's going to be immensely popular, not only am I glad that I did it the way I did it, because, you guys are veterans. You know the drill inside and out, up and down. I do what I want to do the way I want to do it because I can. And I'm so glad that even though Dana Fuchs is the national act, he is going to open the show. You guys are going to take it home in the position that the headliner would normally assume. And that's because, a lot of the people coming to see the national act might be traveling, a ways. Like there may be people coming up from Maryland or Virginia, you know what I mean? So they'll see Dana, and then they'll hang out in that magical, unique place we call the Summers Point Beach, and then they'll get to see your tremendous show, and it's quite a package, and a package that people are not going to get, and they're certainly not going to get it free. And we're really happy to have you. Now, what about Red? I know that Red, Andy, you're a great songwriter. You've written a lot of great songs over the years, and that's part of the feature with Red, the originals.
Yes, sir. When we first started out live on deck about 20 years ago, maybe more at this point, we did a lot more originals, but we kind of decided over time that what we would get it down to was about 3 per set, so we could draw people's attention in better. Because when you play nothing but originals, people don't recognize anything that they're hearing, and they get bored. So, we try to write songs that people are going to like. I actually wrote some with the deck performance in mind, but we still keep it down to 2 or 3 per set, just to keep things going.
Right.
We have,
and then all of
3
that
albums out.
all of that great new wave and 80s, 90s stuff. My particular favorite is what I call the psychedelic rock. I love when you do the Cream, you do Badge, you do a lot of old San Francisco hippie music. Quite a varied and interesting repertoire with Red. You like to comment on that?
Yeah, we knew we had to do classic rock. We couldn't do, like he said, we couldn't do originals all night long. If you're not a famous band that everybody knows, they're not going to be familiar with the material. So we knew we were going to do classic rock, but we also knew we didn't want to do the same tunes that every other classic rock band does. We wanted to do things that we really liked, our favorite stuff. And without stepping too outside and doing like album cuts or B-sides or anything obscure, everything we're doing, all the classic rock tunes we're doing, they were all hit records. They're just not the same hit records that a lot of other bands are doing. So that's the comment that we get from a lot of people that come out to see us is they love our repertoire because it's very familiar to them, and yet it's not stuff that they hear all the time. We do things like Todd Rundgren and Elvis Costello and stuff that, you know, were hits on the radio, but they're just not things that you hear all the time. So people come out and see us and they hear those songs and go, oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a great tune. And I think that works well for us.
Well, the comment...
Yeah, we've got some new mashup coming. Got some new stuff for you this summer.
Oh, really?
We're putting together a bunch of stuff for you, so, you know,
good.
Here's some new stuff.
Good.
Hopefully you'll like that, too.
I can't wait.
I'd like to say, on behalf of myself, I want to...
We'll be hanging out. Now, on the deck, when do you start on the deck at the Golden Nugget?
Monday. We'll be out there at 2:30 unless the weather does what it says it's going to do. So I don't know about that, but
how about the following Monday? The following Monday you'll be out there? I
think we're back inside in Rush Lounge until the
17th.
It's like the third week.
Right.
Until the 17th.
Father's Day. Father's Day is the big weekend when everything carries over. What are going to be the times outside starting on the 17th of June?
Do we know that yet, Bob?
Yeah. So what it's going to be this coming Monday, Memorial Day, we'll be out there, and it's an afternoon show from 2:30 to 6.
Right.
And then we go back inside to Rush Lounge for 2 weeks, where we play our normal 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. in Rush Lounge. We come back out to the deck on the 17th of June, and we'll play every Monday throughout the rest of the summer, except for 1 or 2 in there that we have to take off. But for the most part, every Monday throughout the summer. And those are, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 6:30 to 10 p.m. each Monday night. And there's one Monday in August that we took off. We have a vacation planned, and some of us are going to be going away. And there's another Monday it's late in June, June the 24th. That is the week that at Golden Nugget they do their week festival of tribute bands that they've been doing for the last 20-some years called Fake Fest. And it used to be just like 4 days a week, starting like on Thursday. They do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But now they've expanded it to the whole week. And so for the first Monday night, for the Monday night of that week, the 24th, it's going to be our tribute band, The Girls Can't Help It, on that Monday.
Good.
And then the rest of the week, they have several other great tribute bands throughout the rest of the week.
Great. That's beautiful. Well, I can only say this. I've been around, and I know a great band when I hear one. Great vocals and very, very tight band. Of course, when you have Danny Iyer, then you have this double whammy of you, Andy, being one of the finest guitar players, without a doubt, around, and Danny Iyer, who's better than Danny? All you can say about Danny is everybody loves him, and to have everybody together, it's a joyous thing. It's what summer at the Jersey Shore is all about. In July, you get to party on Mondays, and there's no better place to party than at that beautiful deck overlooking the yachts and the skyline and listening to and watching one of the premier regional bands we have, Red. Thank you, guys. Have a great summer.
Thank you. Thank you. And on behalf of myself, and I hope the rest of the band, I'm sure the rest of the band, I want to thank you for everything you're doing for musicians and live music in general. It's just great that we still have somebody out there doing what you do.
Thank you. We love you. Thank you. We'll see you out on the deck. Thanks. We'll see you on the beach. Let the good times roll.
Thanks, Carmen.
Ditto that, Carmen. Have a good day.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, before we bring on our next guest, I do want to talk a little bit about Vino. Circle Liquor Store, of course, is jamming. 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's the key. Go early or go late. If you want to go to dinner, relax, enjoy yourself, have a couple drinks, and then get to the Circle, and they're open till 10. And then you can relax and enjoy the best place there is to get ready for the party, to enjoy yourself, to look for the fine wines, the cavas, the proseccos, the champenoise, all of these great things that you can enjoy. 200 bourbons, single malt scotches, exotic tequilas, extensive cognacs, single malt scotches, plus literally dozens of new seasonal brews every week. So if you want to taste the newest summertime brews, just go on over there, talk to JM, the big guy, talk to Jordan, the craft beer guy, and they won't say, oh, yeah, we got one over here. Oh, they'll say, you see that over there, that whole row? Those are the hottest new ones in the country, okay? And you can break them up and taste one and make your own. If you're into that craft beer thing, whatever you're into, they have it. Like I was saying before, we're going to do a Bogle wine special. That's going to be really fun because the Phantom Blues guys like to drink wine, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're calling it Phantom Red Wine and Funky Phantom Blues. You understand, that's another one of those shows. I was talking about those guys, how great they are. They have a guest star. They have two guest stars. It's like a big blues, rock, funk festival. Also some jazz elements, some really cool, well, Taj Mahal's Senor Blues, Horace Silver. You know, these, you know, it's hard for me. I get excited and I get kind of crazy because I want people to understand, you know, this is one of the few places in the country that Phantom Blues is going to be in concert with Curtis Elgato, the man who taught the blues to the Blues Brothers. And on top of that, sultry, funky, Heather Little Mama Hardy playing the funky violin, blues violin, jazz violin, whatever you want. You want her to do if you want to hear country, tell her you want to hear Orange Blossom Special. It's going to be a great time. And it's a special for Circle Liquor Store because we'll have the Bogle Phantom Red Blend. We'll be on the boardwalk. They're playing on the boardwalk, too. There's no alcoholic beverages allowed on the Summers Point Beach, but on the boardwalk in Atlantic City at the Tony Mart Cafe, we will have sangria with fresh fruit, Bogle Red, and the Chardonnay, which is really supposed to be excellent. I asked Ted about it, and she said that it's really excellent. Nonetheless, we want everybody to be a part of all these things because there is no better place to get ready for the good times to roll than Circle Liquor Store. 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you just couldn't find a more hospitable or better staff or better good time. And you just couldn't find a better music photographer, an all-around good guy, and musicologist Johnny LaRoe. Johnny, are you a musicologist, man?
I'd like to think so. I'm not on the level that you are, Carmen, but I definitely love music.
Nancy was laughing from the other room on that one. I could hear her. Johnny, I don't have to tell you, but I'm repeating it for everybody else, how much I respect you and rely on you. Nancy knows that everybody knows that if something happened to me, like almost just happened to me in Norway, Johnny would be at that table putting this thing back together again. And I've invited him here today because we have an unbelievable lineup for the summer here. In Summers Point, we're going to have 14 concerts with 17 performances. In Atlantic City, we're going to have 11 shows, and we're going to have a dozen, 10 national touring acts, plus several more opening acts, a tribute to Sly and the Family Stone, which ought to be a lot of fun. And the big Tony Mart show, the last show of the summer in Atlantic City, Johnny, is the Tony Mart tribute to the classic rock guitars with a new one added, Prince, because Billy Walton's going to do that. Awesome. That's always a really cool show, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we have some amazing talent, some amazing guitar players in this area. Billy ranks right up there with, possibly the best in our area, maybe in the state.
Right.
Brian Verhalle, the list goes on and on of great guitar players that we have right here in South Jersey.
The guy you just heard, Andy, from Red, tremendous guitar player.
Yes.
Donnie, let's talk about Summers Point. Bywater Call is new. If you like Tedeschi trucks, you'll love Bywater Call. And then I just punch. It's like pummeling a big bag in the gym. Billy Walton on the 21st, Dane Anthony on the 28th, and then Eddie and the Cruisers on the 4th of July. That's a pretty good way to start things off, Johnny. What do you think?
Well, I think this year's lineup in Atlantic City and Summers Point is probably the best you've ever put together. And truthfully, I don't know how you do it. I mean, you and Nancy work, endless hours, contacting these bands, setting up the schedule. I don't know if people realize, the logistics of all this stuff and getting these people, on the days we need them, the nights we need them to play. I mean, I think it's amazing what you guys do. I give you kudos for putting together such great shows year after year.
Thank you. We worked a lot of days in November of last year and a lot of days in March of this year putting this all together. And it's a good thing we did because now we have it done and ready to go. And I think that it's exciting that we're getting the national attention. It's exciting that we are really, and as far as I'm concerned, we're number one across the country because this little series in Vail, they didn't even place last year. And we were number one last year, and now we're number 2 this year. And we're getting the recognition we deserve for what we do. How about, I know you've been with Dana and Patty Balbo. Where are you going to go and see a show like that? Dana Priest and then Patty Balbo.
Yeah.
Did you hear what they were saying? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Dina, I mean, I know, her tickets, if you go see her anywhere else, it's not a cheap ticket. She's, very well recognized and a great performer. And, you know, we get to see this for free. It just blows my mind that, you know, we have this level of entertainment, and you just bring a beach chair, show up, sit down, and enjoy for, 3 hours of great music.
All right. We got some new vendors this year, Nance. You want to come over and tell Johnny and I who we got, if we got what? Well, PJ Buckets is back with the fresh seafood in the shell, and macaroni and shrimp, macaroni and lobster salads. PJ Buckets, always a line for that. People love that. And the ice cream truck. The other stuff that I wanted to mention, I mean, Phantom Blues Band, I was just talking about it. I don't want to bore people, but, it's like one of Nancy and my favorite bands in the world. Taj Mahal.
It'll be the first time I've seen them. Yeah.
Oh, man, it's a shame you never got to see Finnegan. Oh, my God. They had, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, they had one of the greatest blue-eyed soul singers on earth, Big Mike Finnegan. That's why they're out touring this year. Michael passed from cancer, but
yeah, very sad.
They're out with Curtis Salgado because he is one of the greatest surviving blue-eyed soul singers in America.
Love Curtis. I just love Curtis. Great guy.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing, soulful, bluesy singer. He just takes that mic and he you can tell the audience is captivated when he sings.
Right. And they'll play plenty of dance music. We call this thing Phantom Red Wine and Funky Phantom Blues because they're funky, and there'll be plenty of dance music out there. This thing comes down about half and half, actually. Half bands that play the music that people want to hear that's familiar, and then tribute bands, and then the other half are amazing international artists. Now, for those people who are into the band and Dylan and understand the legacy, the Tony Mart legacy Last Waltz, you will never at a free beach concert. I mean, you might in the city, like in New York City or someplace where they have millions of dollars in their budget. Yeah. But, to see what it is going to be. Dave Malone from the Radiators is the headliner. He is one of the greatest jam rock musicians in the world. Honey Island Swamp Band, Donnie Sandstone, and Mark from Bonarama, and Bob Margolin, who was actually in the movie. I am really proud that I put this together. Now, that brings me to another point. None of this is cheap.
Right.
You can come to the beach on the 12th of July and see a premier international touring act, and the girls can't help it. A great tribute band. It's free, and we want people to step up. The best way to step up is make a check for $500 or more out to the city of Summers Point and mail it to 6 West Lakeview Drive. I guess I shouldn't give my address out on the radio. All right, mail it to 1 New York Avenue, Ned? Is that what it is? Where to send the checks? Yeah.
1 West New Jersey Avenue.
1 West New Jersey Avenue. 1 West New Jersey Avenue. Doug Shallcross is the Community Education and Recreation Director. If 2 or 3 people get together and each throw in $150, $200, you can be a sponsor. But if your business wants to get in, now, Johnny, you're in as an individual. You serve the community and the committee as a volunteer, but now you got your current employer, Apex, to come in as a sponsor.
Yes. Yeah, all I had to do was mention it to Guy Richards, who's the owner of Apex East Roofing, and he goes, we're in, count us in. So, spread the word. I spread the word. I tell people it's an investment in our community. So many people come out to the concerts. There's a buzz. Everybody I run into, I say, hey, do you ever go to the beach concerts? Oh, yeah, we go down. Yeah, we look forward to it. So, it's a great way to just invest in your community and something you can, get a reward from by coming down and enjoying the free music.
My God, 12:56. We didn't even get halfway through the first to finish up the season in Summers Point. You're going to have to come back on, Johnny, next month so we can do Atlantic City. But also in Summers Point, you've got Third World. You've got Tom Ambridge, who is a world famous producer who's done everybody from the Stones, the Skinners, to Susan Tedeschi. He's an amazing performer, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And
he's also Buddy Guy's drummer.
All over Jazz Fest last year as Buddy Guy's drummer. And then also we have the great Tommy Castro, one of the world's top blues rockers, who also happens to be entertainer, B.B. King Entertainer of the Year award winner 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a guy.
He's a serious musician, let me tell you. He's great.
Yeah. And he's fun because he rocks it. He's a blues rocker that rocks it.
Yeah.
And,
he's got a great band.
Third World. Let's not forget Third World. One of the greatest.
Third World,
I mean, look at what we just laid out. Let the good times roll all summer long. Johnny, thank you for everything you do. We love you. We respect you. We appreciate you. Will you come back on in a week or two so we can talk about Atlantic City?
Absolutely, Carmen. I would love to. It's always fun talking to you. It's always fun getting together with you. I look forward to that. And, just keep doing what you're doing, man, because you're amazing. You and Nancy. Love you both.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And we'll see you Friday night at Josie Kelly's for our pop-up welcome to the summer party. Johnny LaRoe, everybody. The great, great photographer, volunteer, all around. Great guy. Johnny LaRoe. I want to mention that Rich Gerber is a sponsor of this show. And Rich Gerber has these fantastic fixed annuities. It's higher, longer right now. So you should be locking into 3 to 5 to 10-year returns that will stay high even after the Fed starts cutting. You can reach Richard at 609-653-9101, Rich Gerber Insurance. And I heard today that he'll be at Jersey Gumbo on the 8th of July at the Point. And we'll be rocking the Point every Thursday night. We'll see you there, 6 to 10. Until then, let the good times roll.
The preceding program was paid for and presented by Tony Mart Presents.